This video will cover how to set up the development environment for creating plugins in version 3 of QGIS, and mainly we're going to be following a blog here on the Spatial Galaxy site. So I just wanted to put this together here to kind of show the easy steps that I found for creating these in version 3. So the first step is you want to have QGIS Network Installer version installed on your computer. So if you go to the QGIS site here, you want to look for the OSGeo Network Installer and run one of those. The next step, you'll want to create the PyQGIS shell script. Now with this, you'll use the script to help build your plugins. So the first step here is you want to create a text file on your computer, and then once you create the text file here, you want to name it PyQGIS command and change the extension to the .cmd. And then you want to open up with a text editor here. So once you have Notepad open, we're just going to copy and paste the content from here into Notepad. And then we're going to have to change some of our paths because they might be slightly different on your setup. So I have a slightly newer installer setup than the version on here. So first, there's a bunch of paths here we need to check and update a few of these. So the OSGeo4W path, the grass path. So you can see here is my installed OSGeo4W path, but you can see I have the 64 on mine. So we just need to match the OSGeo route to that 64 path for all instances in here. And then we want to look at the grass tool. So grass is another application that gets installed within OSGeo. So if you go into the apps grass folder here, you can see mine is version 7.4.1. So we need to change that to 0.1 for these two. So you're also loaded in the Qt5 bindings and the Python 36 bindings. The final one at the bottom here is a path for your Git folder. I'm not going to have that in here at this point. So once you get all that set in here, you can click the Save button. And that will be your script that will run here. So moving on down on this page here, next we want to test our Python within our command script just to make sure everything works fine. So if you double click on that command file, it should open up a new terminal. So here's the terminal, and then we can type in the Python 3 in here, and we'll run that. So typing in Python 3, hit enter on your keyboard, and you can see you're now running Python through the command window. So you can test it just by doing one of the QGIS core imports. And if you type that in and hit enter and you don't get any errors, then you're good with your Python 3 setup. So next you want to install the PB tool. So PB tool is a builder Python module specifically for building plugins in QGIS. How you can do that is you need to close the command window and then reopen it, and that will get it out of the Python section of it. And then using pip is a kind of a Python package installer. So typing in that command there will install the PB tool. Now I've done this already, so it's just saying it's already been installed, but when you run that on your end, you'll get a bunch of different progress bars that will show it installing. So next we will install Plugin Builder plugin. It's a little confusing. It's called Plugin Builder plugin, but it's a plugin for helping you create plugins in QGIS. So open up QGIS. If you go to the plugin menu and then Plugin Builder, you can search for Plugin Builder and then install it. And after that installs, if you click on the installed option, you can now see it's been installed, and close out of that. So the next step is to create your plugin. So back in Q, Plugins menu, Plugin Builder. So the Plugin Builder will kind of walk you through creating the plugin. The first option here, page, is just defining the class name, the plugin name, the description, the model name. So here I'm just going to type in test plugin and test plugin for the name. And the one thing you can see on here is in the different text boxes, it kind of gives you the grayed out kind of preferred text format that it's looking for. So the next panel here, just give a little description about the plugin. So my first plugin. And we'll just keep the default template, which is a tool button with dialog, which is just, it will open up a form when you click on the button. And we'll keep it in the plugins menu and then give it the menu item text as test plugin. Additional things that come with the plugin itself, and then these are just paths to different repositories. We're just going to put NA for now for these, but you can have these set up on different Git repositories. And we'll check this one as experimental. So here is the path to where your plugins are installed. If you're not aware of this, or maybe you forget how to access this path in the future, there is another option, and I'll show you how to access that path again. So if you go into your settings, user profiles, and then open active profile, this will open up that directory where your Python folder is, and within your Python folder is the plugins folder, and that's where all of your new plugins will be created. So we will generate the plugin in here, and so now we're given some instructions for actual compiling the plugin. So creating the PyQGIS command script and installing the PB tool, we will use that to do the next section here. So next we will compile the plugin, and that is found further down here in the bottom of this blog here. So creating the new plugin. So essentially what you want to do is just run the PB tool deploy command, and then that will compile and build your plugin. So back in our command terminal, so next we will cd into the directory, and again this is just the path where the plugin is located, and then finally you can run the PB tool deploy command. So this will actually compile the plugin and allow you to use it within Q. So most of the steps of this video cover how to set up the environment for creating these. If you want to create a new plugin in the future, the only steps that you have to do would be first to open up QGIS and use the plugin builder to create the plugin. And then finally open up the PyQGIS command script, and like we did in this last step here, cd to your new plugin directory and then run the PB tool deploy command. So after this runs here, it does notice, I have noticed on my setup, it does create an additional plugin directory like name for the one that you just created. I typically just delete the one that has less folders in it. I believe both of them are compiled though, and you can use both. The reason I delete one of these is just because it's a little confusing in Q if you have two plugins that are named the same. So finally, if you have QGIS already open, you want to make sure you close it and then reopen it. So in here you can now see the new plugin icon over here on the left, if you don't see that on your setup, the only thing you have to do is just go into the plugins menu again and make sure yours is turned on, and then you can close out of it. And then finally, just click on your plugin and it will open up the UI form that's related to your plugin. So again, this is the basic steps for setting up the development environment and compiling plugins in version 3 of QGIS. Feel free to check out future videos that I have coming out for working with QGIS version 3, Python, and plugins.